Marlena.
I can't.
I made it special for you.
Gene.
Look, don't talk. You eat dinner just like I've planned, all right?
Gene, we have to talk.
I said don't talk! You eat it like a pretty little wife should.
Gene, you can't bring back your wife by pretending that I'm her.
I know who you are.
Gene, think about my son. I'm all that he has.
Your son?
I told you about him. Remember, we called him to make sure that he was all right.
Yeah. Man, I'm sorry about that. It was really stupid. I shouldn't have let you do that. I'm sorry about a lot of things. You don't have to eat that food if you don't want to.
I don't want to.
All right. Well, it's time now to go to bed. You're not like my wife. Please tell me you're not going to be like my wife. Tell me everything's going to be beautiful, all right?
Yeah. Everything's going to be beautiful.
Let's go upstairs.
Come on.
It's all right, Doc. It's over. I'm here. Not to be afraid now. It's okay.
Frightened? You should have been scared out of your mind.
He wasn't trying to hurt me, Doc.
But he would have sooner or later.
Possibly.
Possibly? I don't believe you. A man holds a knife to your throat, you treat it like an everyday occurrence.
I'm just trying to keep an objective viewpoint of what happened and why.
Oh, baby, you are incredible.
The main thing is that we finally nailed the strangler. Now, would anyone mind if we move on to the next phase?
The next phase is getting out an indictment, which you'll have by the end of the day.
Who's going to represent this, Bradford?
I was just about to ask your opinion on that, Mickey.
My opinion? Well, it is that he needs the best he can get because whoever is going to represent him is going to have their hands full trying to figure out some kind of a defense for him.
That sounds like your kind of case.
My sentiments exactly. Look, pal, you are the best. With what we got on Bradford, he needs the best.
Oh, well, thank you very much, gentlemen. Even though I do happen to agree with you in principle that I am the best and he needs the best, unfortunately, I'm not the best in this case.
Oh, why not?
Because I represented David Banning. I was very much on the other side of the case.
Well, whoever represents him should know that we plan to shut this guy down for good.
Just be sure that you have the right guy.
I am sure.
That makes two of us.
Well, I'm not sure. Eugene is disturbed and he needs help.
Huh. Now she's feeling sorry for him.
Don, I'm a professional therapist. I try to avoid personal prejudice.
Well, Mickey, maybe she should represent Bradford. Is there anything in the law books about the victim standing up for the accused?
Marlena, I am a little nonplussed at your feelings about them. And how can you feel compassion for him after what he put you through? I mean, he put your life in jeopardy.
Mickey, we know that he killed his wife. That does not automatically make him the Salem Strangler.
No, of course not. Just a poor misunderstood guy who was happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Don, Eugene is living in a fantasy world. And I think half the time he believes he is the Salem Strangler himself. Look at his apartment. He's got newspaper clippings all over the walls. He's got silk scarves in the apartment. I think he's built the fantasy world because he feels guilty about killing his wife. And that memory is so painful to him that I don't believe he could ever consciously go through the act of strangling somebody again.
Well, I'm afraid I have to reserve judgment on Eugene Bradford because I don't go along with that.
And at the risk of saying the wrong thing to you at the wrong time, I agree with what he says.
Roman, what about you?
Well, we work strictly with hard evidence here, Doc, and we've got plenty of it against Eugene Bradford.
All right, all right. Maybe I'm wrong about this, but I can't help but remember that Eugene could have killed me several times, and he didn't do it. And that sticks in my mind. Look, maybe I feel an obligation towards him. The man is disturbed, he needs help, and that's what I do.
Discuss the guilt or innocence of the accused. I think I better get over to the hospital and see Maggie.
Thank you for your concern.
Well, we're just all of us very happy that you're safe and sound, Marlena.
Hey, look, Mick. The public defender's office is going to have to supply Eugene Brad with a lawyer. Now, you sure you don't want to put your name in the hopper?
Positive. They'll come up with somebody.
Yeah, well, I just hope it's not some red, hot, young lawyer out of law school.
Hey, Mr. DA, have you forgotten you cut your teeth on public defenders?
Well, my teeth are starting to wear down.
To ask you to answer, Miss Davies, do you agree that she will represent you as legal counsel?
You still gonna have that radio show?
Yes, I am.
Good. Because then you can tell your audiences how I strangled a woman. How I took a little stone, wrapped it in a scarf, and twisted it around her neck.
All right, that's it. Get him out of here.
Come on, man. You're hurting my wrist. Hurting my wrist.
I hope you're convinced now, Counselor.
See, all the victims of the Strangler were killed by approximately the same method of strangulation. But we didn't release that information to anybody, which means that no one could know about that except the killer himself.
Through this before because we stopped him before he got to killing you.
He was keeping you under a constant threat with that knife. He could have snapped at any moment, and you know it.
She doesn't know anything of the kind. May I remind you, gentlemen, that Dr. Evans was there, observing him, listening to him, and therefore capable of evaluating him from every standpoint.
A woman with a knife at her throat is not capable of evaluating anything.
Get off of me!
I want to confess everything, Dr. Evans.
No, you don't, Mr. Bradford.
Shut up! I know my
When
right.
Davies was very bright. I liked her.
I'm wild about it. I really am. So is Roman.
Here he comes to tell us all about it,
I
I'm
can hear
sure.
his footsteps. Why don't you grab a chair and sit down? We're talking about the glories of the legal business and what we have to deal with in certain people.
Oh, you must mean Gwen
You
Davies.
see how his face lights up when he hears that name?
She's going to be on us all the way on this, Don. We can't afford to make any mistakes.
You don't have to tell me.
I keep remembering what she had said about putting a little stone or something in a silk scarf, and how anybody could have found that out.
Are you still flexing your stubborn streak, Doc?
I know that you and Don both believe that Eugene is a strangler, but I'm just not that convinced.
Want to go over it again?
Do I have a choice?
No, so I will give you some random thoughts. 1, Bradford's foot is the same size as the man's who was outside Laurie Masters' apartment. 2, Bradford has already confessed to the Strangler killings. 3, he shows a remarkably professional knowledge of how to strangle someone. 4, he has already strangled his wife and killed her. 5...
All right.
Convinced now?
You could be right.
Could be.
Well, after all that, I will admit that Eugene could be the strangler.
Congratulations. We've finally broken through the wall.
I can't help but think that I'm just accepting the obvious a little too suddenly.
No, Marlon. Marlon, you never accept anything too suddenly.
Well, I am glad to be alive, and I guess I should remember that part.
Yes, you are, and yes, you should.
You're Roman and Abe a big dead.
I know I do. Roman, does this mean that I get to have the guards taken off my doors?
Consider it done.
Oh. What about Jessica?
Hers also. You women of Salem are now on your own.
Oh, I like that. Yes, now I can be grateful to both of you.
Hey, come on, I'll drive you home.
No, that's not necessary.
Why not?
You heard what Roman said. The women of Salem are on their own. Now, that includes me.
I'm only offering you a ride home, not a 24-hour guard service.
The answer still stands. I'm looking forward to driving myself home and having a nice, leisurely time. I'm not going to look over my shoulder to see who's following me. I'm going to enjoy the view and all of my newfound freedom.